Good morning and welcome back. SpaceX successfully launched another batch of satellites into low orbit overnight, with the Falcon 9 rocket lifting off from Cape Canaveral. The mission features 51 Starlink satellites and an orbital transfer vehicle, which will serve as a third-stage vehicle and deliver an undisclosed customer payload to a further orbit before deployment. Spaceflight describes the Sherpa as a mothership for small satellites that allows them to, listen to this, ride share and reduce their launch costs. This is SpaceX's 40th launch of the year. President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness aims to lift crushing debt burdens for millions of Americans, but the tax man may demand a cut of the relief in some states, and Minnesota is one of them. That's because tax-forgiven debt is considered income in some states, which means borrowers who are still paying down student loans could owe taxes on as much as $10,000 or even $20,000 that was taken off their bill. In states like Minnesota and Wisconsin, forgiven student loans will be subject to state income taxes unless they change their laws to conform with the federal tax exemption for student loans. The Minnesota legislature and Governor Tim Walz have indicated that there's a broad support for a fix, which could come during the 2023 session or maybe even earlier. The number of monkeypox cases in Minnesota is growing, up to at least 130 at last count. Most of those cases are in men, and one is now sharing his story. Adam Duxter brings us that man's experience and how groups are fighting stigma surrounding the disease.
By mid-July, Kyle Olson says he started feeling sick.
At first, I thought I had COVID again. I thought that I was getting sick again with COVID, and lo and behold, it wasn't COVID.
Lesions on his skin and intense pain indicated he was dealing with something else.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know that I had monkeypox until the lesions started happening. And then it was on the news, and it kind of came to light what was going on. And I was like, this has got to be something like that.
Olson became one of the first 24 people that contract monkeypox in the entire state.
Honestly, it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. For me, it was, unfortunately, going to the bathroom every time felt like I was being stabbed, and which is really dramatic, but it really was that painful. I'd have to lay down for like 2 hours afterwards, just like clenching my fist.
Local health advocates like Dylan Boyer say their main effort surrounding monkeypox is education.
First, it's letting people know what it is. What is MPX? How is it spread? How is it transmitted?
But Boyer, who works with the Aliveness Project, a group helping to support people dealing with AIDS and HIV, says he's seeing a similar stigma developing with monkeypox.
Instead of fighting the people, we started to fight the disease. And that was a big change in how we need to change people's minds.
Olson says to this day, he's not sure how or where he contracted the virus. And after an antiviral medication, he's back on his feet. He hopes sharing his story can help lessen a growing stigma.
I hope that people have more empathy towards people that are going through this, and more understanding.
Minnesota has limited supplies of the monkeypox vaccine, and those are going to at-risk communities. Olson urges anyone at risk of contracting the virus to try and get the shot. Well, let's see how people are responding so far to our question of the morning on Facebook. Earlier this morning, we asked, 30 years ago, most Americans learned to do this. Now it's down to about 18% and shrinking. And here are some of your responses. Aaron says, balance a checkbook. Allison says cursive handwriting, and Linda says save money. To leave your answer, just check out the question on the Valley News Live Facebook page. We'll be back with your responses and the correct answer a little later on. Up next, 2 suspects on the loose after a mass stabbing in Saskatchewan, Canada. Plus, the war of words between the current and former president. And Summer Schnellbach will be joining us this morning with a look at your Labor Day forecast as we take this live jump outside. Beautiful sunrise as we greet our Monday morning. We'll be right back.